there's really two variables that matter the most in terms of chromatography. That is efficiency and selectivity. I'll talk about the second one first because I think it's the harder to wrap your head around as maybe a chromatographer. I am a chromatography geek. I have been for more than 20 years. And more so, I work for a company that only manufactures columns. Now, I love instruments. I want to be clear about this. In my hobbies, I work on motorcycles and cars, and I love working on instruments. But my career is focused on the surface chemistry of chromatography columns. And that really affects selectivity or alpha in the resolution equation. And that selectivity it's hard to quantify, but it's really there. And so going back into the separation, typically speaking, reverse phase separations are based on hydrophobic differences. We use C18s to separate molecules that difference by their carbons. That's the fundamentals of reverse phase chromatography. Van der Waals forces, carbon-carbon interactions. Now, backing what we just talked about, Dave, the differences between these peptides and the related substances are amino acids or oxidations. These are more ionic or polar in nature. And so it's these secondary or non-van der Waals forces type separations that make the difference in the ability to separate these compounds on a chromatographic column. So that's what I refer to as selectivity. And this is why every manufacturer has dozens of C18s in their catalog. They're not all equal. They all have slight differences in selectivity, and it's those secondary mechanisms that we control. Now, why Aeris? Years ago, we did some work on peptide mapping. So a little bit of a different application, but we were taking protein digests and taking a look at peptide mapping, and we knew that that Aeris XB chemistry had a very unique selectivity for peptides. Fast forward years later, we were very happy to learn empirically that that same selectivity advantage benefited synthetic manufacturers as well. So that was kind of the selectivity story. Now, the extra, I don't know what you want to call it, cherry on top is my second variable in the chromatographic equation, which is efficiency. Empirically, in my experience, efficiency plays a huge role in these peptide separations because, again, they're very small differences. So when I have very small resolution between two peaks, and also let's use a drug substance as an example, the main API peaks there at 90-something%. My small related substances there at 0.5%. If my peaks aren't very symmetrical and very tall, they're not very efficient, I'm not going to be able to accurately integrate them. I'm going to manually draw baselines. That is going to lead to precision problems.